My number one goal is not money. I like to work with who I want to work with. Because at some point you're gonna have to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm worth more than this. Money doesn't matter if your relationships are falling apart. One of the things that you have to understand when you're getting into real estate or just business in general is you got to remember who you're doing this for. Now, if you're single and you're just out and about doing what you're doing, then of course, you don't really have a lot of people counting on you. But what happens when you do? Well, for me, number one, and this has been the way it's been in the past as well, I've actually walked away from six-figure jobs because there was just a little bit of a clash into what was important, and if you really feel, or if you really want, or if you're really driven, or kind of a manipulative. Uh, my number one goal is not money. It's not. It's what I can do with my time. And I know people say, "Oh, well, the amount of money you make is determined on what you can do with your time." Kinda, but not really. What it matters is where the importance goes in ranking of this is what I will and won't do. That's the important part. So I'll give you an example. I will not. It does not matter if it's $1 million house. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter. If one of my kids is playing a game or they have a recital or something, I am not working. It does not matter who they are. It does not matter what they say. It does not matter how much the commission is. None of that matters. And here's why. What I can do now, I can just tack on another year or two to the end of my work life. Okay? It's not a big deal. But I can't redo the time that I miss, the games I miss, the recitals, the plays, all those things. I will be there. No matter if it doesn't matter if it's another state. On date nights, when I have a date night with my wife, it's date night. If you text me, I'll probably get back to you 2 or 3 hours later. If she goes to the bathroom or something, I might do a quick text just to catch up. But other than that, no. So priorities. Who's in front of you, who's not. Another thing, when I get home, I put my phone down. And then we talk, we do things, dinner time. I'll have my phone turned upside down on the table so it's not facing anything. When they want to go outside and play basketball, we go outside and play basketball. My phone doesn't come with me. So you just have to make sure that as far as timing is concerned, that you prioritize who needs to be prioritized. You might have a few people that decide that you're just not a good fit for them working with them. My point of view is if you're with somebody working in a working relationship, whether it's a client or a broker or whoever, and they cannot understand what is important in your life, it doesn't mean that they think you're a bad person. It just might not be what they're looking for. Trust me, you move along and you'll find people that are worth working for. And the other thing is that I like to work with who I want to work with. If it's going to be time consuming and taken away and demanding and all that, we can just go our separate ways because I'm just not going to do it. But you have to be willing to stand strong on what it is that you will and will not do in that regard, because once you do it for one, you have to do it for all. And I'm telling you, there are times, I just recently, as a matter of fact, there was a situation that happened in which somebody wanted me to come in and take over for an agent that wasn't doing what was expected of them. And within about 2 or 3 days, I started to realize, nah, this isn't where it's at. This is not where I want to be. So we ended up going our separate ways, and it's not the first time it's happened. But you have to say to yourself, how much of myself and time and frustrations am I willing to give for whatever amount of money, X amount of dollars, right? Because at some point you're gonna have to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm worth more than this, and not in an egotistical way, but in a way that you have to have your peace, you have to have your calm, you have to be able to put your head down at night, you have to be able to be okay with how the day goes, and if you don't, it's gonna affect your whole day, your whole week, your whole month. Don't let it. Take care of you first, and then focus on the people around you. And if you're single, your friends, whatever. But if you have a family, your wife, your kids, your husband, your whoever it is, okay, your mom, your dad, maybe there's a lot of multi-families now. Whatever it is, Start there and say, this is what I'm dedicating to these people. Before you start talking numbers, before you start talking business, here's what I'm dedicating to these people. Here's what they need to understand from me in order to make this work. Because once you have that conversation, it's a lot easier to follow up and be consistent. Okay? So when I go on trips, I designate somebody to take over for me. You know, I might throw them a split on an open house that I'm not going to be able to do, or I might offer them a gift card. I might say, hey, I'll buy you lunch. I might do whatever for the agent, just to help me out, you know. Or I might say, hey, I mean, there's all kinds of ways you can do it, and I could go on and on about the different options. But the main thing is make sure that you understand who is important to you. And if you're having trouble understanding who's important to you, ask yourself this. Who would bring you chicken soup when you're sick? If you say, oh, well, they would, but no. Who would do it? If you called them right now and said, hey, I'm feeling like crap, I just need something to eat, is there any way you could bring me some chicken soup? Even if they say, hey man, I can do it after work, but I don't get off till 11, or hey man, I'm out of town, or hey chica, I'm over here, or whatever it is, if they make the attempt or they actually do it, that's who you need to be focusing on. The rest of the people, they're just going to take your time for right now until later is not good enough, and then they're gone, or you're gone. Another thing that I think that people overlook is they don't take the time to get away and just get away from it all. I love what I do. Don't misunderstand. I really do. The people are amazing for the most part. My mentor is phenomenal. I have another one as well that does with the sales training and stuff. And then I also have a community that I escape to. It's a mastermind, but it's more than a mastermind teaching how to do things. It's a place where you can go no holds barred and just say, yo, this is what's got me this week, and I don't know what to do. And they'll say, you know what? And then everybody comes together collaboratively, and then you find yourself in a better spot the following week. You have to have those kinds of people in your life. And it's like I tell my kids all the time, you have to have something outside of all this. So it might be, let's say you're in a sport, right? And a lot of times people think, okay, well, I got family, I was in sports in high school, I still hang out with all those buddies, you know, stuff like that. So no, you need something that nobody else is a part of, because what happens when your world starts crumbling and all those people are involved? Where do you go? You know, for some people it might be to go by themselves to go fishing. I do that sometimes. But I also have a world outside of everything that they don't know anything, and it's just my own little world that I can go to, and it's mine. Nobody else's. And it's not a disrespect to your partner or to your kids or to your family or anything. It's just, you know, they wouldn't get mad at you for going to a therapist, would they? No. They wouldn't get mad at you for needing to go and just unwind for 2 to 3 hours, let's just say a week or whatever. I mean, I don't know how you guys have it, but whatever it be. But you need a group. You need a people that you can just go, you know what? They have nothing to do with this. Why? Because that's kind of a way of breaking away from everything. I'm a father of 5. And or 6 if you count the lovingly adopted bonus one. And then I am also a husband. I am also a high school coach. I am also, up until about 2 months ago, I was a team manager for a soccer team. And then I am also a realtor. I am also, there's a few other things that I'm also. And it gets draining. But at the same time, you gotta shake hands. You gotta do this, you gotta do that. So every now and then you got to break away from something that is not related, so that way it doesn't feel like something's still draining on you. And it's just kind of like the drip, 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 drip. I don't know if you guys are aware of Chinese water torture, but the idea behind that is they strap you down, and it's just one little drop, and it's just boop, it just hits your head. The thing is though, is it's never consistent. It'll go boop, 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 and it drives people insane. It's just a little drop of water though. Just a little, that's it. And if you look at a rock that gets dropped on it consistently, and at first you see nothing. After a month or so, you might see a little bit of a change. Take it to a year, 2 years, 3 years, you start to see a hole starting to form, at least a divot. The same idea, and you don't even realize it's happening. But you gotta break away. You do, 100%. one of the things that I like to also be mindful of is there's a lot of times when it almost seems like it happens in threes, you know. And I'm not saying that for a fact, but when one thing starts to burn, you know, like a dumpster fire, I call them dumpster fires. But once you start to have one dumpster fire burning, you start to notice there's another dumpster fire burning, and then before you know it, there's another. Now, that one, not a big deal. That two magnifies. That three, it just goes like exponential, you know. And there are times when you just have to say, I'm spending way too much energy on this. I am drained. I am done. I have nothing of value to offer to this. Well, how do you go and fill your cup up again? You walk away. And you say, I'll revisit this tomorrow. I'll revisit this 2 days from now, whatever it is. And then you go somewhere, you go to a group of people that have nothing to do with any of those fires. Because then you're just getting that slow drip and you don't even realize it. Trust me, go to where nothing has to do with it. If you need to go fishing with a buddy and just take the whole night, just do it. You know I like to talk about fishing, but I'm going fishing today actually. Yeah, so one of my listings has a pond, and I've grown to love them. I love these people. My kids love them too. And today after work, the week has been kind of catching up on me a little bit. There's just been a lot of things going on this week. And it's personal and business, you know, so it's not just, and it's nothing bad, it's just so much, right? It doesn't always have to be bad, it can just be a lot. It's kind of like, okay, so I'm not a sweets person, but every now and then I like it. But every now and then I'll get a cupcake or something. I'm just in the mood for something sweet, so I'll just take a cupcake or something. But then it's just too much sugar. It tastes great, but it's just too much, you know? So when I say it's a lot or it's just been a bit much, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be bad, it can just be nonstop, you know? And this week has been a lot. So today, I am taking my kids and we're going to fish at a catch and release pond that is on one of my listings. And then they're going to help us as well. So one of the sellers is going to come out and fish with us as well. So that's going to be cool. We're going to do it kind of later because it's so hot right now. And probably about 5, 6 o'clock, just kind of end the day. And that's going to be amazing for me. I'm really looking forward to it. Another thing. When you're trying to think about prioritizing, make plans with those people that are in your life that bring you chicken soup people, okay? Bring you chicken soup people. Make plans with them. Like, here's one thing that I love to do, which I'm kind of excited about because I love to just drive around and travel a little bit. Love and I always take little mini vacations, like 1 or 2 days, just to kind of pop out, be somewhere else. It could be across the country, it could be where, it doesn't matter, right? Well, here's one of the things that we love to do. If you go on Google Flights, right? Google / flights, okay? And then just pick a time frame, let's just say April. Right now it's July, so let's just say April, okay? Pick a time frame, April, and just find the cheapest flights. You can usually package those with cheap hotels. Her and I have gone and spent in a whole weekend from Friday, come back Sunday night, and we spent $300. I kid you not. And that's flight included. Flight and hotel. $300 for the weekend. The whole Friday we fly, Friday we fly, Friday night, Saturday we stay in a hotel, Sunday we fly back. $300. Total taxes, fees, all that stuff. It can be done. You just have to be flexible, number one. And number two, you have to kind of push the date out a little bit. But do it. And then, so that way it gives you something to look for. And then you guys can talk about, oh, when we take this trip. Why? Because then when you look back, you go, hey, you remember that time? And that adds to the piece that you have. And if you don't really want to travel and you don't want to fly, then you can drive. Or maybe take all your friends if you're not with anybody, if you don't have a family, or even if you are. And then just take a bunch of people and go to a hotel you can fit 4 in a room. And then just kind of buddy up that way, family it up that way. Take 2 or 3 hotel rooms on the same floor, and then just have a weekend where it's nothing, no business, no nothing. Just make sure you have somebody who is going to answer your calls and who is going to take care of your people, and also be willing to do the same thing for them. That way you can create kind of a partnership. That helps out tremendously. I have a few that I can lean on. I'm telling you, it helps out tremendously. And that's one of the things that my partner told me and taught me was you need to have a team. Because if you try to go in this all by yourself, it's going to be a lot harder to do any of the things that I just talked about. Another thing. So we talked about the trips. We talked about the people. We talked about the walking away, knowing when to say, that's it, I'm done. But what about when it starts to feel like it's in over your head? For example, I all of a sudden got listings all at once, right? So I got my fish out of water, and I've got this, and I've got all these buyers, and I have, wow, I don't know how I'm going to juggle this. So I had to learn how to delegate. So I delegate to, which is something I've done previously in the past. It's just in real estate, you have different people to delegate to. So it's not, if you've been in sales, you have your writers, you have all this other stuff. In real estate, it's kind of similar, transaction coordinators, marketing, things like that. Delegate it to them, that way it frees up your time so that you can just do the 2 or 3 things that you do exceptionally well, let the other people do the rest, you know? So that's one of the things that happened was, well, when I got to feeling like I was a little over my head, I just delegated more, and it came out so much easier. And right now, I've got one house under a listing that's been a blessing. I have another one that's gotten offers. I have another one that's gotten offers. Those 2 we just haven't been able to hammer anything down just yet, but I'm pretty confident it's going to happen pretty soon. But I would be stressing myself out immensely if I had not delegated. So so let's recap, okay? You delegate, so that way you just focus on 2 or 3 things, right? So that frees up your time. It's going to cost you a little bit, but money buys you time. So you pay them a little bit, and then you get time in exchange, okay? So then when you want to go and take trips, you have people you can lean on over here. So 1, delegate. 2, lean on, okay? Right? You following? Okay. And then 3, focus on the people, not the money. Because when you focus on these people, they're going to help you in ways you never thought possible. Because you walk around tense and wound and ready to smash things, you're going to have it. You might get lucky 3 or 4 times, and you might be able to make some sales, but it's going to go downhill, and I can almost guarantee you it's not going to be a repeat. So focus on those 3 things, and you should be good to go. All right. If you have any questions or anything, as always, drop a line in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer anything you have. I hope you guys are doing awesome. I really do. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. All right. Talk to you guys later. Henry, the Deaf Agent.